Good afternoon, everyone. It's me again, BigFriendlyWarGamer, Gareth to my friends and family, and I'm going to do about another hour of me sitting here and painting and talking. It's the 20th of February today, so 8 days till the end of February, beginning of March, so years going by quickly. And what I'm going to do today, if I can find the paint I'm after, not that one. Ooh, this is annoying. There we go, Sigmarite. Yeah, I'm just going to sit and paint and talk for an hour. I'm going to show you what I've been working on first. This is my Abaddon model. I'm hoping it shows up fairly well on camera. I've still got to finish his base and a few details, but he's more or less done. I've got these guys here, which are my first five Cal Space Marines, which are nearly finished. In fact, these haven't really changed since last week. I've done a bit more of them, and I've got their backpacks on the go and one of the weapons. My Sorceress for Silver Tower, which I had to repaint the flesh because I wasn't, excuse me, I'm a bit bunged up as usual. I wasn't particularly happy on how the skin went, so I repainted her. The base is nearly finished, the Silver Tower base. And we've got our Grot Shaman, whose flesh is finished and his base is nearly done, but I haven't really done much else on him. I've got the 5 flayed ones, which are here as well, and I've got my Cryptek, my Necron Cryptek, which I haven't finished. And I added my Nurgle Chaos Sorcerer, which all he's had done really is the gold painted and shaded and the silver painted, that's it. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do the dry brushing on the gold on these backpacks, because the Chaos Marines are nearly done. They're not far off being finished. So I'd really like to get them finished today, but we'll see if it happens. And this is a technique I'm going to use on them called dry brushing. Basically, you get a brush. This is quite an old brush, as in it was made in a long time ago by Games Workshop. You can see it's blue handle. They don't do blue handles anymore. And basically, what you do is this paint is a bit different to normal paint. It's a dry paint, and that sounds, if you don't know the hobby, a dry paint sounds really like weird. But if you're in the hobby, you know what I'm talking about. And you get like that much on your brush. Rub it off on a bit of tissue paper, so you've just got a bit left. And then what you do is, you see where all these gold areas are on these. You basically just draw a brush across them, and it's I'll make sure I'm on camera. It just basically highlights the gold, but it doesn't highlight it massively. It highlights it just enough, and basically that's the gold on these finished then. So normally while I sit and paint and do these things, I talk about my week to start with, how my week's gone, and it's been a bit of a weird week, like last week was, but in another way. Again, work is the main thing. Yeah, I don't want to go too much into that because I don't want to be jumping the boat and assuming things, which I have been a little bit, but I just want to let things happen, see how they happen. Yeah, so I'm not going to talk about work. What I am going to talk about is the rest of my week. I did some painting, but not a lot. I would have liked to do more, but life happens. Dry brushing is really quick, so these will be done quite quickly. Then I could get on the Sorcerer. I bought the last bits of my Chaos Army, almost. I've got one tank I need to get. I built a load of models at the weekend, and because the weather was quite nice, I was actually able to spray paint models, which is like really good because the weather's been really cold. You can't spray paint in the cold, it's difficult. I did a little video Sunday, I think it was, because someone I've known for a while, her son played his first game of 40k last week, and she asked the question, what's Warhammer? So I did a little video kind of like, this is what wargaming is, an introduction to wargaming from my point of view, and I hope it was helpful to someone. You can find it in my video feed on YouTube. It's like only 25 minutes. It's not one of my massive hour-long videos. So 25 minute, just basically all I do is I explain not even the rules of Warhammer. I just what wargaming is. I show a few examples of miniatures in their boxes, how you can buy them, and then I build a blood letter just to give people the idea of how to, like, what miniature gaming looks like to start with and how you can progress with it. And what I'm going to basically do is I'm going to, in the next time I do that, probably next Sunday, I'm going to do another video and showing you the steps of painting it. I think I'm not going to say qualified. I'm experienced enough to be able to do that, I think. And some of it will involve outside spray painting, which I can't figure out how to show on camera, because firstly it might be raining or it might be cold, and secondly I don't really think we need to see me spray painting models, especially because I'll probably end up spray painting the camera, and that's not a good thing. So I'll show a before and after, and yeah, it should be pretty cool. I've like I said, I spray painted a lot of models over the weekend, and I was hoping to use. I've got a spray stick. It's basically I think it's about 2 inches wide, probably about 3 inches wide by about 2 foot long. I think it's a wooden stick. It's a big square block of wood, and basically I put double-sided masking tape down 3 sides. I stick all the models onto it and I just spray them. Unfortunately, I've lost my double-sided masking tape, so I couldn't do that. So basically I put all of the guys that I wanted to undercoat in a box and spray them like that. It takes more time and it's not as accurate. I mean, I've got some patches on them where they need a bit more spray paint, but they're done enough. I could get away with it. So I've finished highlighting the gold on the backpacks. The gold on them's done now, and I'm going to go and highlight the gold on this Nurgle Sorcerer. And this guy, he's got like pus all over him, and basically he's Black Legion still. As you can see, these guys, they're black armor, gold banding. This guy, he's a Nurgle, so generally speaking he would be in greens and stuff and he'd be rotting everywhere, but I still wanted him to be part of my legion, so I carried on. I've painted him black, I'm doing his shoulder pads gold, and I will work the black armour. It will still look Nurgly, but it will still look Black Legion as well. So, and this is perfectly fine. I mean, Black Legion had all chaos marks in it, so lore wise this is perfectly fine. I haven't got a name for this guy yet. I've named my other 2 characters. Well, I've named one of them because this is Abaddon that I'm pointing to. He gets his own name. He doesn't need anyone giving him a name. And my demon prince is Euthankos. I think is pronounced Euthankos. Basically, he's the demon prince who commands Abaddon's Black Fleet. So I like that storyline, and he's a demon of corn, and he's painted red, and he's got a big axe, so it works quite well. Okay, so that's the gold done. And basically what I'm going to do now is I'm going to shade the silver that I've done. So I'm going to be, once I've cleaned this brush, right, yep, that's good. I'm going to get some Nuln oil, and we're going to shade the silver. Now, like I said, these backpacks are close to being done. Once I've shaded the silver, it's just a case of going back and reapplying the black, and then they're done. I don't want to use that brush to wash. Let's use my proper wash brush, because that's what it's for, and then I'm dipping it in the wrong water. Hey ho. So yeah, basically I had a game at the club I had 3 games at the club yesterday. 2 games of AOS, which I won, and a game of 40k, which I lost quite badly. And the guy was apologising to me, saying it was over the top, the army and whatever, and I'm like, it's really cool. I've got to learn the armies no matter who I play against, so it's fine. So yeah, like the Lord of Skulls, which is my big scary guy, died before he did anything, which I'm expecting that most of the time, because he is powerful. I mean, you don't want to let him get anywhere near your army, because he will just rip units to pieces. It's what he does. In the game on the 3rd of March, I'm playing the Apocalypse game in Watford. I've got another big scary thing, which is my Knight Paladin. He's a Renegade Knight. He's an Imperial Knight, but I'm using him as a Renegade Knight. It shouldn't make a difference. So I'm hoping they're not going to focus on just one of them. Spread their fire across the 2 and leave one or both alive. That's what I'm hoping for. But we're going to have like big stuff on both sides. And I know at least one of the guys that I'm playing alongside has big stuff as well. Possibly 2 of them. So if they're bigger stuff than I have, my stuff might get left alone. But we'll see. We will see. But yeah, the Lord of Skulls was one of the things that got spray painted at the weekend. He is a very bright gold at the moment. But in fact, once I've finished these Chaos Marines, I may actually start work on him. I should put these other models away and just work on my Chaos Space Marines for the next 2 weeks. But I paints what I paints. I can't stick with one project for indefinitely and have all of it on my desk, because I just won't paint. I'm hobby butterfly and everything. Right, so that's them done. I should really do the melter gun as well. So yeah, so the game went really badly, the 40k game. The AOS games went well. I won both. It was both of our first time really playing the armies. It's my second time, strictly speaking, but yeah, it was my first time when I had the book with me, so it was kind of my first time. And the missions we rolled really didn't help him. He was a shooty army. He was the Caradon Overlords, I think they're called, and I was my Khorne Demons. And once my demons get in combat with the Overlords, the game's done. It's over. So the missions didn't help him, especially where they were reducing his firing range and stuff like that. But he drew them. He drew the cards and missions and stuff. So it's not my doing that. It went so badly for him. But it did help break my losing streak. I've been on a bit of a losing streak of late. in all the games I play. And it's fine, this happens from time to time. I keep playing, and eventually I'll win games. And but this is the thing to me. Winning the games isn't the be all and end all. Like, it's having a good game, which is most important. Right, so I'm waiting for the ink to dry on those backpacks now. So while we're waiting on that to dry, we're going to have to find something else to paint. And I think we're going to be working on the Sorcerer a bit. The Sorcerer and the Grot, I'm kind of working on them together. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to give the Grot a dark hide cape. So we're going to start off with Rhinox hide, I think. Just hope my paint's still good, because some of my paints have been drying up on me. Yeah, it's fine. I've noticed that a lot of late. My paints are starting to go off, and I've had to throw some out, and I'll have to replace some more soon. But they're paints that I don't generally use. I've maybe used once or twice and then left them, and they've dried up. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe when Christmas comes around again, and Games Workshop do one of their ultimate paint sets again, I might actually just buy it, but we'll see. Because I only use Games Workshop paints. I don't have any other paints. Like, there's lots of other brands around, but I prefer Games Workshop stuff. I just know where I'm at with it, if you know what I mean, because I've been using them for so long. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to cover his cape in this Rhinox hide. Yeah. So I've watered it down, so it's quite thin, so it will need 2 coats. And he's got like a fur bit at the top. It's your typical cape. So what I will do is I will highlight the fur at the top further than the cape. But yeah, the things with work, I mean, I want to talk about them, and I shouldn't, because I don't know what's happening, and I'll be jumping the gun on most of the things. But you can't help having thoughts fly around your head, you know what I mean? They've known for a while that I'm not happy. Like, and you should at least be content in the job you do. Like, you don't have to be jumping for joy and whatever all the time, but at least you should be satisfied in the job. And I've been there a long time, like 15 years nearly, and I just feel very, very underappreciated. And the company is a bit victimising sometimes. Always blaming rather than actually trying to sort problems out. So we've done that. I'm going to paint his staff as well, the same colour. This is Rhinox hide as well. So I want to give him a dark staff, and then he's going to have a bone, which is the bit across the top. I'll show you what I mean. So he's got a bone going across the top of his staff. Basically, it's going to be wooden staff, and then he's going to have a bone bit across the top. So I want the bone to stand out a lot, so this is why the staff's going to be so dark. It's just about being careful. I mean, I've painted his skin. His skin's totally finished, and I'm really happy how his skin turned out, because I can't paint green. I've stated before, for some reason, green is my bugbear colour. I just can't paint it. I can't paint it and get it to a stage that I'm happy with. Like, I've tried painting Dark Angels and painting other Space Marines and Orcs and everything before, and it doesn't look right. So I'm really happy with how this guy's skin has turned out. So yeah, it's going quite cool. Right, so that's his cloak done, and while that's drying, I'm going to do some more work on the sorceress. Basically, she's got very little clothing on, which is typical for Games Workshop female models. I'm not being sexist at all, not at all. But she's got like a loincloth and a bra and boots, and that's about it. As you can probably see from that. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the purple and get it to the stage that I have on this guy's claws. If you can see that on his claws and on his sword. I don't know if that's showing very well. Hopefully that showed up okay. So we did, as you can't see, I've got a chart here saying the paint colours and whatever. So I did Nagaroth Knight, so it's going to be Xerxes purple and Genestealer purple to highlight her loincloth. Yeah. And then what I'll probably do is to bring the colours back down to so it looks like it's blended, I'll glaze it afterwards. That's what I normally do. But I don't want her robes to look, her loincloth to look really garish and purple, whereas the guy with his claws and his sword, they're demon weapons. So like the whole garish purple looks really weird, but it looks okay. Weird but okay. That's me all over. Weird but okay. Right, so we are going to take that brush and we're going to start working the highlights on the loincloth. So yeah, it's things have been okay. I mean, the club's going well. There's fewer arguments now, which is cool. We're going up to Watford. We're trying to. I want to build like a what's it called? Competitive banter between the group in Watford and our gaming group. So yeah, it's cool. But yeah, the game in Watford, I'm nervous about it. I don't. I get nervous when I go to our gaming club, which is a place I know. I've been going there for 5 years. I know my way around. I know the people there, but I still get nervous every time I go up there. And it's just anxiety. I don't know. I can't do anything about it. It's me. But once I'm there, I'm fine. It's just I have to fight the urge to not go. You know, 'cause I'm a bit socially awkward sometimes. I can put on a good front, I really can, but it's still awkward. I still feel awkward sometimes, and it doesn't get better with age if you don't address it. So I've been going to the club for 5 years, and I've been an elder of the club for 3 and a bit years now, maybe 4. I still get nervous. So I know a lot of people who do this hobby are socially awkward. And just, I know a lot of other people will be saying, oh, just get over it, because they have they're not socially awkward. They're striding nice and confident and blah 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 whatever. But I just think that if you're not confident, like, make a friend. Just make a friend of someone who's in the same situation as you are, and things are so much easier. I did that when I started going to the club. It helped that some of the people that I was gaming with in Games Workshop were there as well. People that I knew, and a lot of them have moved away now. But I'm not. It's not their fault. It's life, you know. And I mean, we're holding this club birthday thing in March, and I've got to get on with my sister about making some cakes, which I'll give her a call at the weekend, hopefully. So because there will be cake, there will be cupcakes, I hope, and so yeah, it should be a cool day. It's the 19th of March if any of you feel like coming down. I'm gonna be holding a big tank battle for the day. It's basically, if you want to bring a tank, it's basically like World of Tanks, which Games Workshop linked up with that back last year. So basically it's just bring your tanks down, it doesn't matter what tanks, and just jump on the game, and basically we take it in turns and you destroy other tanks, and each tank will keep a record of what they've destroyed, and you can recycle your tanks, just respawn them. So I have to work out the practicalities of that, because if you have 50 people turn up, which we won't have 50 people turn up, but they all have 4 or 5 tanks each, that's a big battlefield, but it'll be a laugh. And there's no sides, so the Elder don't team up with the Elder, the Marines don't team up with the Marines, you just kill everyone. Your tanks are your side, and it's all against all. You can deploy them where you like, as long as you come on from a board edge, because facing for tanks doesn't matter anymore. They just come on and blow the crap out of our tanks. And I'm hoping that it will be a big thing and people will enjoy it, but we'll see. And I'm hoping everyone, like, people bring a lot of tanks and we can get some good pictures, because it'll be a laugh, it'll be a load of fun. I myself will probably be bringing about a dozen tanks of different classes. I've got some Land Raiders, I think I might bring a Spartan, I might bring a Super Heavy as well. So it's just bring what you feel like bringing, and we're going to have a giggle. We'll probably all team up on one player, because that happens, but that'll be fine. But it has to be tanks, and nothing but tanks. So none of your Sentinels or your Titans, nothing like that. It's just a tank battle. This is the Battle of Talan. If anyone knows 40k lore, it was the huge tank battle on a planet which devastated the planet. Basically the whole continent was covered in tanks, and it was fought over. It was fought over. Basically, Talan is a worthless planet. It's a nothing planet. It's a desert, right? But because you do what you're ordered to, they were told to hold it. So the Imperium fought and poured tanks into the battleground, and Chaos did the same. But this one's going to be Elder tanks and Imperial tanks, Chaos tanks, anything that looks like a tank, if you know what I mean. So you've got like the Wave Serpents and the Falcons and all that of the Elder, they're tanks. Obviously the Predators and Vindicators of the Imperium are tanks. Land Raiders, It should just be a bit of a laugh, nothing else, you know. So yeah, I really looking forward to that. I'm hoping other people are looking forward to it as well. If anyone has any ideas of what else to do with that, just let me know. And it will be chaotic. It will be a bit of a laugh. It's not going to be taken too seriously. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I may do it again in the future if it goes really well. And basically, everyone who's in play will have a D20. And you roll off to see who goes in which order. So I'll have to take some paper with me to keep track. But yeah, it should be a laugh. Right, so we've done some shading on that guy. We're going to do another layer of purple. It's Gene Stealer purple this time on the Sorceress's robes, loincloth. Sorry, I keep calling them robes, but they're a loincloth. Just basically bring it up to the highlight, bring it up to the edge highlighting, and then I've got to decide on what glaze to give it. To be honest, there's not a lot of glazes that GW do, so I may just get some Jutsu Violet and water it down a lot to make a glaze. I just want to bring the colours together rather than be able to see all the it's a quick way of blending. So let's go with my fine detail brush. It's not my finest detail brush, but I prefer it to the actual finest detail brush. It's got a better tip on it. And edge highlighting basically is where you've got the ropes, the loincloth, sorry, there and there. Whether you can see them, I don't know. I will be going along the edges and just highlighting the very edges, nothing else. And edge highlighting is a technique I use a lot, probably too much, but who's to tell me that anything's too much? No one. So I use it. I use it because I like it and I can do it fairly well. Now with these robes, I've actually watered down this Gene Stealer purple a little bit too much, I think, but I think this should be okay. I don't want to take the highlights too far. It's just basically the bottom of the robes and the edge of the robes. But with edge highlighting, which I've just ballsed up a bit there, but you need to keep your brush quite tidy, and with not a hell of a lot of paint on the brush, because if you have a lot of paint on it, it will go everywhere. And basically I'm just highlighting the edge of it. So, and it's only along the bottom as well, it's not far up the top. Basically she's a sorceress, so she's going to be like casting a spell with her outstretched hand, and I want the robes to look like they're fluttering in the magical wind. The robes, the loincloth, whatever it's called. Okay, so that's that done. I will show you, but it's kind of pointless because I don't think you're going to see it on camera. It's so little, the edge highlight. So now we're done with that, I'm going to go and reapply the black onto the backpacks. You'll see I chop and change between projects. There's a term for it, it's called hobby butterfly. And I admit to being that. I can't stick on one project because I get bored. And if I get bored, it makes me not want to paint. So I chop and change between projects. It's good though, because it helps me get a lot of things done across a small amount of time. Well, a small amount of time, but you know what I mean. Right, so we've got Abaddon Black, and we're just going to go and reapply the black onto the backpacks. And I'm repeating myself. So as always, a bit of water, just wet your brush a bit, and grab some paint out of the pot. Well, I use palettes. I know some people don't. Some people use straight out of the pot, and other people use a palette pad that Games Workshop make. Now, I find the palette pad absorbs the paint a little bit, so I don't use them. But this palette that I've got here, this shield palette, is a Games Workshop thing. I've had it for nearly 20 years probably, and I swear by it. It's awesome. I use one paint well, the rest of it never gets used really, but it would do if I was mixing colours, which I don't mix colours very much anymore. There's not really much need to. And basically we're going to do that one first, and all we're going to do is just tidy up the black. So I've actually missed some silver, but I'll go back to that in a bit. It's fine. So basically all the armour panels, you just tidy up the black. And the thing is as well, when you spray painted black, which I did with these, some people just leave it at that and then highlight up from there, from the spray paint, and it doesn't work. You need to reapply Abaddon Black over the, or any other black you get from other paint suppliers. You need to go back over that, because what I've found is that the highlights, the shade especially, or the glaze that you use, won't stick to the model too well. Now that sounds silly because it's an undercoat that you're putting it on, but honestly I've found that that's the case. Shades tend to peel some of the paint, some of the undercoat back, which I found with my Def Company Dreadnought. Its highlights have kind of peeled the black away. So yeah, just reapply the Abaddon Black, because the spray paint is called Chaos Black, which was the old pot paint Chaos Black, which Games Workshop stopped making years ago. They went to Abaddon Black, which funny enough is that guy there. He's Abaddon, the despoiler. It's the only thing I had left alive at the end of the game yesterday. Everything else in my army had died. Boo-hoo. But he then went and killed the Imperial Guard commander. I can't remember the guy's first name. Colonel Strachan, I think his name is. The Catachan guy. One round of combat, just chopped his head off. Because Abaddon is a bit of a beast in combat. Especially against other characters. I mean, against the squad, he can be taken down from weight of numbers. One-on-one with another character, Abaddon will rip him to pieces. So, one thing I did want to ask was, I know I did my introduction to wargaming at the weekend, which I'm hoping was useful to some people, and might be in the future as well. But what other things would any of you like to see me do on my YouTube channel? Like, I don't get likes or comments on my YouTube channel. I don't know why. I don't know if that's just because the content is a bit whatever, or I've disabled it in some way, but that's fine. I'm not doing this for subscriptions and likes and whatever. Like, you got to understand, this isn't for your approval, me painting, sitting and painting. This is for me to sit and paint and to talk crap and to talk about the hobby. But it would be nice having a bit of feedback sometimes, and it doesn't have to be like the negative feedback some people get with like the trolls that are around and whatever. But if it is negative feedback, fair enough. I'm big enough and ugly enough to take it on the chin. It's not a problem. But yeah, it would be nice. Some people just drop comments in and say what they'd like to see me do. Even if you've got ideas of what you want to see me paint, I've got no problem with that. Because I sometimes I'm a bit stuck as to what to paint. I just like zone out and I don't know. So I end up getting like multiple things out, like I have this week. I've got loads of different armies, the bits of armies sitting on my desk. And yeah, I know for next month there's one thing I have to work on. That's Sigmund. He's stripped. Sorry, not stripped. He's cleaned up and ready to go. I'm going to start building him probably the Sunday after the big Chaos game. Because I'll have time then. And hopefully the weather's good enough that I can undercoat him the same day. But we'll see. But yeah, apart from that, I mean, I don't know what I want to paint next. I know Necrons are coming up next soon with a Codex, so I want to paint Necrons some more. Like, I've got quite a big Necron army that's fully painted now, but you can never have enough Necrons, as I keep saying. My army's really big, Necrons. Most of them aren't painted, but I'm getting there. There's no rush. I mean, I know I haven't got a lot of painting time at the moment, but there really is no rush to get everything painted in the space of a year. I'm pushing myself this year. Like my hobby challenge was to paint over 200 models, because for the last 2 years I've painted 200 models. But the thing is, the last 2 years I've had breaks. Like one year, I think it was last year, for 2 months I didn't paint any. I painted one model, which is, sometimes you need a break, you know. But I'm going to push myself to paint 200 and something this year. As long as I can break the 200 mark, I'll be happy. And I worked out it's 17 models a month that I'd have to paint. I'm on 12 so far this month, sorry. I got 17 last month. Or did I get more last month? I'll work that out later. But I'm on 12 already. I've got 7 sitting on my desk, which are... Sorry, 6 sitting on my desk, which are nearly finished. Which they should be finished by this weekend. Quite easily. So I can jump on something else at the weekend. And then I've got the 2 Silver Tower characters who aren't far off. They haven't got a lot left to do on them. So I would have smashed my target for the month. Smashed the target. Yeah, so I'm on course, and I made myself a promise as well to paint 3 large models for the year. One of them is going to be a Lord of Skulls, because I want to get that model finished. It's such a nice model. People rated it so badly when it first came out, and like, I just think people haven't seen it up close. Like, it's got so much detail on it, and like, yeah, I really want to paint that. So that will be number 1. I've got to think about my other 2. I really want to paint a Wraith Knight, but I want to paint it as a Harlequin. But we'll see about that, because at the moment my Harlequins are a non-started army. They're all sitting in a case, not even undercoated. I would quite like to paint Magnus as well, Magnus the Red. He's not a Titan sized model, but he is big.
He's easily the size of a knight. So I'm going to call him a Titan sized model as well. But not even a Titan sized model, it's a big model. So I guess I've got my 3 then, because I really want to paint a Bloodthirster as well. And it'll probably be Scarbrand rather than a generic Bloodthirster. Scarbrand's a named Bloodthirster. His model is more or less a Bloodthirster, but he has 2 axes and he's a little bit different. But Games Workshop have already stated that you can use Scarbrand as a Bloodthirster, so it shouldn't be a problem. But I can't buy myself that model until I've finished painting the Khorne Demons that I already have. That's another promise I've made myself. Whether I stick to it or not, we'll see. I got quite good at sticking to my hobby pledges last year, so I think I will stick to it. So yeah, that's my three large models that I want to paint for the year, I guess. And if I do hit my hobby pledge early, if I hit 200 models, or 201 let's say, and now this is on camera, I've got to stick to it. If I hit that, then I start my Reaver Titan. Because I've got a Reaver Titan, if any of you know what a Reaver Titan is. It's a big daunting model to start building. Like, the thing is huge. At some point I'll put this on camera, and you'll see just how big the thing is. It's not built at all yet, it's not even cleaned up. I've had it for 2 years and it's sat in a box. I've worked on a couple of the weapons, so the weapons are cleaned up, but that's it. So yeah, in fact, actually, while I've got the black out, I'm going to go back and reapply some of the black onto the Chaos Marines. So yeah, it's about time that Reaver Titan got some attention, so it will do this year. Once I've painted my 200, which the way I'm going at the moment, I want to paint all the time, and it's no guarantee it's going to stay like that, especially when it gets warm in the summer, if it gets warm in the summer. But we'll see. If it does get warm in the summer, sometimes I don't want to paint, because like, I get quite warm in my room when I'm painting. Just even like now, the weather's not great. It's been raining outside. It's not particularly cold, it's warmed up a little bit. But yeah, it gets a bit warm in here. And I've got a fan which is right behind the camera, but I don't think I'd have that on while I'm recording. But I could still paint, it won't be a problem. So that's that guy. He's just had his black re-highlighted. That's him done. Next one is it's just on the chain swords. Basically need to reapply the black. It's just where I've gone over with the silver. And Avedon needs a bit more work on his black as well, his hands and stuff. But all I've got to do with him is finish his base really. I've got to finish the highlights on the skulls and finish his base, and then he's done. I'm pretty sure he's done then. But yeah, it was a nice change of pace playing Chaos Space Marines. And I know my army's not optimised. It's not going to be mega powerful against everyone. Do you know what? I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm not a competitive player. I just play for the fun of the game. So this guy needs his Power Fist re-blacked out, because I went over there with the gold a little bit. And there's little bits and pieces I keep noticing that I haven't done, like the wire on his Power Fist, and to be quite honest, I'm not really fussed about going over and doing that again. So it probably won't get done. This guy doesn't need anything because he hasn't got a chainsaw. So on the last one, and then all I've got to do is their backpacks need edge highlighting, which is really straightforward. I haven't gone too over the top on the black on these Chaos Marines. It is just basically black and then an edge highlight. That's it. I think it was etching grey that I used. Yeah, I'm quite happy with how they're coming. They're a tabletop level army. I'm not going to win awards for them, and I'm fine with that. But tabletop, they look good from a distance of like 2 foot, which I'm happy about. That's all I aim for with my armies, really, that they look good as a force on the tabletop. I'm not fussed about the other stuff. Right, so that's them done. I might as well do the little bits on Abaddon, however you pronounce his name. All he basically is his hand has still got some gold on it, which is now sorted. Just go over his fingers a bit more. But yeah, this isn't the official model of Abaddon. This my kit bash version of him, and it does make him really quite a lot bigger than he is in the old model. But it's good because the old model is a bit old now, like really quite old. So he needs an update, and I quite like how that model has turned out. So yeah, he's practically there. I will go over on the sorcerer, just fill in the black, but this is going to be a bit more difficult to do his black because his armor's all cracked and broken and stuff like that. So the black won't be quite as good on this guy, I don't think. So yeah, I'm thinking about doing a Wargamer hangout on like either YouTube or Google or something like that. I'll have to involve some of my friends from the club, and it's basically just we're going to sit at home, paint while talking. Something that a lot of us do in Games Workshop in Uxbridge when we've got time, because you got to understand, Games Workshop is a different kind of shop to any other shop that you can think of. I think you can go in there. Yes, it's a shop, you buy stuff, but you can sit around and talk to your friends. You can build models, you can paint. I mean, get some Games Workshops you've got when parents are going shopping, they'll drop their kids off in the shop to paint while they go off shopping. Like coming up to Christmas, there was a lot of that. So yeah, that's why I people keep knocking Games Workshop, right? And they do a lot. It's the thing that people do, isn't it? When something's popular, people hate it. Like I'm quite the opposite. When people hate something, I tend to like it because I'm a contrary sod. But there you go. So he's done as much as I can do him now. So we're coming up to our time, I think. I will do one more bit, which is going to be the glaze on the sorcerer's loincloth. Basically what I'm going to do is, once I've cleaned my palette a bit and grabbed a bit of a drink, but yeah, please feel free to comment, even if you don't like what I do. Just constructive criticism, I can take it, it's not a problem. But yeah, like comment and stuff if you feel like it, I don't mind. As you can see, like with my palette, Get my bottle of water. I keep it clean. Most people have really filthy palettes. I don't like that. Yep, so I keep my palette clean. I always have. So I've got this rag. Keep it clean. So we're going to go get a bit of Drucci Violet. Shake it up a little bit. And we're going to get something called a medium, which I've got a pot of it right here. So medium is like, people say, what's the point in using medium over water? Water will thin your paints and your pigment down. A medium thins the paint but not the pigment. Basically medium is colourless paint, which it sounds weird, but once you've used it you'll see what I mean. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a glaze. To do that I've got to get quite a bit of medium, and that should be enough. My paintbrush is a bit dirty but it's okay. My brushes need cleaning, but I've been painting rather than cleaning brushes, so. And then literally just grab some ink, and you see how it colours the medium. Can you see that? You could probably only just about see that, but that's enough. That's all I need, because the loincloth is quite a small piece. And it's a loincloth front and back, so it covers her up mostly. And we're going to go with my shade brush again, because I love my shade brush. Unfortunately it's on its way out, and Games Workshop don't do the same ones anymore. So with a glaze, you just basically bring it, just all it does is just tints the colour a little bit. Gives you a really rich purple, which is exactly what I wanted. And the highlights still show a bit because it tints them as well, but they still keep some of their strength. And that's that. Basically it's just a case of leaving it to dry now, and then I've got to paint the inside of a loincloth, which is mostly black, but it's going to have a gold trim to it. And yeah, whether you can see that or not, I don't know. I'll see when I watch it back later. I'll have a look and see if I can see it, because I find myself saying that quite often. Can you see this? Can you see this? So I should really watch my own videos back, and I don't, because why would I watch my own things? I've been here living it. Why would I re-watch it? So I think we're going to call it there for today. It's been about an hour. But yeah, the Chaos Marines are coming on quite well. In fact, I think I'm actually going to glue them backpacks on. So what I'm going to do is, you can see this is how I basically paint everything on corks. People do it differently. Some people use pins to pin them into the cork. I just basically blue tack it, because it's fine, it works. It works for me. And some of these backpacks have still got a bit of detail they need doing on them, like the skulls, and one's got a helmet on his backpack which is through a spike. But I'll get to that in a minute, or eventually, later, whenever. But the thing is, I try to theme my armies. Like, anyone that's faced some of my armies knows they've got some theme to them. Like my Necrons, some of them have Blood Angel parts that they're walking across and stuff like that. My Black Legion, at the moment, they haven't really got a theme. Some of the guys have helmets, the Space Marine helmets as trophies on their backpacks. And I want to theme it, excuse me, to someone that I play quite a lot. But at the moment, there's no one person that I play a lot that's got Space Marines. So, if any of you are Space Marine players, excuse me again, and you want to give me a game, I may immortalise your Marines on my trophy racks. But we'll see. Right, so I've got my super glue, because I use super glue for everything. I don't use plastic glue. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to stick backpacks on these guys. And what this super glue is industrial grade super glue, so it will be quite good. It's very good. I use it for everything. Basically you need, if it wants to come out of the pot, this is the thing, the pot's quite a big pot. Here it comes. And I've had it for a while. So it gets bunged up a bit, but it doesn't take much to unclog it. So the first one is just going to go like that. Okay. And then next one. See, people say that you shouldn't super glue glue stuff with paint on. But this is why super glue is good. This super glue is great because it still holds it. Because people say then you're gluing paint to paint, but it's fine with this super glue. And he's done. So basically all I've got to do on these Chaos Marines now is to dry brush the bases. And it's 2:10. So I've got about another 50 minutes of painting before I have to start getting ready for work. So what I'm going to do is just carry on. This might be a bit of a longer video than you're used to. I'm going to carry on and do a bit of dry brushing. And it won't take long. Just get his backpack right. Okay. See, all of these guys, their backpacks were held on by blue tack before. Because half my armies are held together with blue tack. Blue tack's awesome. Like, yeah, most of my Blood Angel army is held together with blue tack because they're not finished. I'm not finished painting them yet. And this guy is the champion. He's the one with the big trophy rack on his back, and I can rhyme. And he's got a Space Marine helmet on it. It's not, like I said, it's not quite finished. Got to work out whose helmet that is. But I'll do that at another time. And he's got some skulls I've got to paint as well. So I actually still have some skulls to paint. So, and then we've got, where is he? This guy here needs his melter gun sticking on. Generally speaking, when it comes to weapons, I don't highlight them very much because the areas on them are quite small anyway. So yeah, I don't really bother. So that's one guy. That's the champion, and they're all glued now. So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to dry brush these while on the camera. Just so you can get an idea of what dry brushing is. I use Longbeard Grey. And again, this is a dry paint, which I'll still shake a little bit because you'll see why. Hopefully. Just brings the stuff to the paint to the top there. And we've got my big dry brush again, which isn't that big actually. And basically what we do is we get some paint on the brush. Blah, 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 blah. Brush it off. People will say, oh, why are you wasting paint or whatever. It's dry brushing. This is what you do. And as you can you see that base there? So his base here is just dark grey. And all you do is you gently back and forward across the surface. Because it's textured paint on these bases. And like, this isn't a professional way of doing bases. Like, people can do them much better. But this is a nice quick way and it looks okay on the battlefield. So I've done this with most of my armies, this grey. It's so that my army's all themed. Like, they could be fighting a big 5-way war. So that's the first one done. So we'll grab some more paint and dry it off again. And I won't show you these one at a time as I'm doing them. I'll show them once I've finished the lot. And then all it is painting the rims of the bases, and they're more or less done. And I'll be doing that as I'm uploading the video. So if you follow me on Instagram as well, you probably will see these pop up on my Instagram feed sometime in the next hour. I use Instagram as my motivation. Like, Instagram's awesome. You don't get the negative comments that you do on Facebook and stuff like that. Instagram is just, if people don't like it, they just ignore it. But if they do like it, then all the better. And you may see some of this grey is catching the feet of the models, and that's perfectly fine because they're on a battlefield. They're not going to be perfectly clean and everything anyway. Some on the battlefield is going to rub off on them. And it's the same with all my models. They all have some of the grey on their feet and stuff like that. But this used to be something that I hated doing, basing models. And to some extent with Age of Sigmar, I'm still a bit, because where I've done grey on all my bases for 40k, like, you can't really get away with that in Age of Sigmar. But I think I've got an idea of what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to do them as sandy bases, but I'm going to cheat. I've got a way of cheating. Basically, I'm going to do texture paint and dip them in sand. And I've been telling people about this way of basing models for ages, and I don't think anyone does it except me. It's a very, very quick, very easy way to get your models based. And yeah, I love it. It's so easy to do. Okay, so that's them done. I'm going to clean my brush off and we will call it there, I think. I'll show you these quickly and then I will sign off. But again, as always, thank you for watching if you've watched this far. I'm pretty sure people get sick and tired of my rambling. And that's fine. I don't hold a grudge against anyone. Generally, I don't hold a grudge against anyone, especially about my wargaming hobby. So, if you can see these, you can see the dry brush on the bases. It's really rough, but it looks fine. It looks like a battlefield. So, thank you very much for listening and watching me do my thing. I'm going to keep painting for another half hour or so because I want to get these guys finished. But yeah, so I will see you around, I'm sure. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.